Well, we got the candles out for this. How WWE Monday Night Raw can get better. Whew. We got so much here. And I mean so much here. Well, let's see. First of all, we need to stop letting Drew McIntyre get all these title opportunities when you got people such as like Kofi Kingston, and I mean even to a point like Sheamus and Ricochet. All three of those opponents can be good for Bobby Lashley because it's like we keep getting Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley. We got that for like the past 3 months. And I mean, I know the creative team, they gotta be tired of it. You know. I know they gotta be tired of it because it's literally the same thing. And I mean, and I know another thing. They gotta. I know before, like Drew McIntyre would start off the show coming down every week, even when he wasn't the champion. They gotta stop doing that too. They got to. And another thing, it's like they gotta take people more seriously. Like Shayna Baszler, like just last week, like she was going to Alexa Bliss dollhouse, and she was being like she ran up the ramp and she was scared and everything. Like stuff like that shouldn't happen. Shayna Baszler needs to be women's champion. And I mean, I know Rhea Ripley is the champion. She beat Asuka at WrestleMania. But they need to change that. They need to let Shayna Baszler versus Rhea Ripley. They had a good match at NXT. Shayna Baszler almost put Rhea to sleep, but Rhea Ripley, that was a pretty good match and everything. So why not let them two fight? Matter of fact, if you want to throw in the wild card, let it be Shayna versus Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. If you want to do that, and then you can add Asuka, and there you go. You got a nice fatal four-way. That could be a match for SummerSlam. Look at that. I'm just thinking of stuff for SummerSlam. And how about push Ricochet on Monday Night Raw? They need to. Like, it's like he keep getting beat every week by Sheamus and everything. And actually, Ricochet was going to be one of the people that was going to jump Drew McIntyre because Bobby Lashley came on Raw. I know it was a few weeks ago, but Bobby Lashley wanted somebody to take out Drew, and it was going to be Ricochet. So that right there would have been good to see Ricochet get a push because he deserves it. And then another thing is like they kind of sleeping on Asuka because ever since she lost the women's championship to Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania, it's like they didn't have nothing going for Asuka. And then it's like she just lost to Charlotte, so I'm like, Dad, like why Asuka gotta get buried by Charlotte, you know? And it's like another thing, it's like they need to stop with these crazy forced comedy skits. Like it shouldn't be the Miz and Morrison always trying to bring the laughter to Monday Night Raw because then it gets boring. Like the Miz and Morrison, they are a cool, funny team, but you can't let them keep doing that every week. And why not put I know AJ Styles and Omos are the tag team champions. Why not let them defend the belts on the show? They've been the champions for so long, and then they wasn't on TV, and then now they back on TV. So I think they should have done something like that as well too, because it's like you got to use everybody. Like the Viking Raiders, they came the night after WrestleMania, but then just like looking at it and everything, they was barely on TV for that long. And I'm like, I don't get that. I don't understand that at all. I don't understand it at all. Like, they came after the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, and like that whole show was just insane. How can Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania just be that dry? That's exactly how it was, and that's why I said they need to have fans back. I don't know if that might not save the show, but I mean, look, they need some type of reaction from these fans, because just having people through the TV monitors is not good enough. It's really not good enough, because it's like people can be looking at their phones, people can turn away, people can walk away from the screen, so we're not really getting a reaction from the fans and stuff. So that's another thing. And then, of course, over the years, Monday Night Raw has always had a good announcer team. I'm like, shoot, they need to put Booker T up on there, or Jerry the King Law. You know, I mean, Michael Cole was on Monday Night Raw, but now he's on Friday Night SmackDown. You know, and I think before, when they had Samoa Joe, Tom Phillips, and Byron, I mean, that was at least a little decent, because Samoa Joe, he was bringing energy to some. Samoa Joe was bringing the energy to some of these matches that you would just sit there and be like, oh, I don't want to look at the match. I mean, that's how Samoa Joe was. Samoa Joe always brought the energy. And then at one time, what they should have done, if Samoa Joe was medically clear, him and Seth Rollins would have been a good little feud. Because Rollins, think it was last year. It was last year though, but Rollins was calling out Tom Phillips for being a bias on commentary, and Joe stood up for him. That would have been a good storyline. And that's another thing. They need better storylines, because it's always like the New Day winning the tag team belts, and then they'll drop them, and then they'll get them back. Like, why not split up the New Day on Raw? I mean, Xavier Woods can probably go to SmackDown. You leave Kofi on Raw. You just keep pushing him for the championship, and then we can have another Kofi Mania. Because, it's just like, Kofi Mania was back in 2019 when he beat Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. So if they want to do that, they could do something like that. And, it's like with Sheamus, like, I would love to see Sheamus be a double champion. Sheamus could be U.S. champion, and he could be the WWE champion. I mean, Sheamus got all the tools to be champion. It's like he hasn't won a championship in such a long time. And I'm like, I know Rollins was the United States and a WWE champion, so they could do something like that. But in all honesty though, for Monday Night Raw, they just need to get more people on there. Whether it's from NXT or whether it's like free agents, they need more wrestlers on there, because it's just going to be the same show every week. It's going to be the same show every week. And it's like, it's too many rematches. Like, if you ain't see the match last week, it's going to be back on there this week. And that's why, for myself, I'm like, I can't watch this, because I could just, like, right after the matches is over, just go right on YouTube and just look to see what happened. And all the matches is like 4 minutes, 3 minutes. The skits be 2 minutes, because like 3 hours of Raw, like, it's just 3 hours of nonsense for real. And I honestly think they need to cut the hours from 3 to 2, because it'd be so crazy. Like, it's been a lot of times they started off Monday Night Raw with the Miz TV. Now, I mean, sometimes it can be funny, but I mean, honestly, it's like the Miz he just talked about his TV show. So, and then another crazy thing, they had the New Day and Matt Riddle throw tomatoes at the, like, come on now, you can't have stuff like that. You really can't have stuff like that. Like, that's not entertaining. And then one of them going to throw an orange a tomato at Randy Orton. Like, that's not good. They can't be doing stuff like that. They can't. They really can't. You know, and I just think they need to push more people because it's still crazy. Like people like Aleister Black was on Monday Night Raw. Braun Strowman, like Strowman should have had a one-on-one match with Bobby Lashley, and then you let him win. You let him be champion. But it's like they want to keep going the route with Drew and Bobby Lashley, and honestly, I think Drew is probably gonna beat Lashley at Hell in a Cell. So it's just like, it's crazy. And then it's another thing for like these pay-per-views. It's like WrestleMania Backlash, Hell in a Cell. That don't even be until like October. Now it's in June. That's how y'all know it's crazy. They switching up these pay-per-views. I mean, honestly, they don't need to have a pay-per-view every month. They need to have a pay-per-view maybe like every 2 or 3 months so that they can build storylines. I mean, that's what Monday Night Raw lacks. They need to have more better storylines and put more female wrestlers on Raw because it's hardly that any. It's hardly any on there. They need to push Naomi, and Naomi and Rhea Ripley would have probably been a great match, but I mean, I haven't really seen her, so I'm hoping they still use her because they better not release Naomi. Like, that's a very talented superstar right there, but we all know how that is. But it's just Monday Night Raw. They need to just change everything. They need to just change everything. They need to have these fans back because it's just crazy that WrestleMania had fans. So I'm like, why not have the same fans the night after WrestleMania? Maybe the Viking Raiders would have got a bigger response. Maybe Charlotte Flair coming back would have got even if it was just a heel response. Everybody in the crowd would have been like, woo, you gotta, because I just think they are suffering without these fans because certain superstars feed off of that energy and stuff. So they need to get it together. They really do. New storylines. They need to push more people. Because if the same people keep getting pushed, like it's hard for somebody to get interested in Drew versus Bobby when they done fought like every week on Raw. They fighting every week. They did a contract signing. They fighting there. They fought at WrestleMania Backlash. They fought at WrestleMania. Like, they need to give that a break. Like, and I just think these other superstars, they need to come down there and interrupt their matches. Like, it would be more interesting to see Ricochet interfere and Lashley and Drew match for the championship. Then that could probably put Ricochet in for a title shot or something, because he's showing like, look, I'm tired of seeing this match and everything. So I just hope that certain superstars get pushed to that limit. They really need to, because it just doesn't make sense that we got to keep saying the same wrestlers keep getting pushed. And that's what's pushing people from not watching Monday Night Raw. Because you're showing the same thing every week. And it's like I just be looking at the views and I'm like, the views is going down too. Like, I remember they used to get I'm gonna just think like 2013, they had the Daniel Bryan Authority storyline. Every time I looked on those videos would be almost like 30, 40 million views, because it's like Daniel Bryan was going up against the Authority. Daniel Bryan was trying to overcome the odds every night, banning gauntlet matches, going up against, basically he went up against the whole Evolution at WrestleMania. And Triple H injured him. He's like, they need to just make better storylines. And one last thing I'm going to say, they need to stop with this Alexa Bliss doll thing. They really do. Because it's boring. It's not scary at all. Like, and that's why I will never understand why they scripted for Shayna Baszler to go through all that. Because it's dumb. It's very stupid. Like, Alexa Bliss should just be a wrestler. Because they don't have that many female wrestlers there. They need to have more female wrestlers on Monday Night Raw. I mean, it's Monday Night Raw. Like, Monday Night Raw is supposed to be you stop everything what you doing and you watch it. That's how it's supposed to be. Now it's one of those, you just look at it to see, well, if this wrestler ain't wrestling, then I ain't gonna watch it. Or you be like, okay, so who's Matt Riddle facing? Oh, he's facing Kofi. Well, I done already seen that match. Like, it shouldn't be like that, but that's how it is, though. But they need to push certain superstars, because I'm telling you now, I would not be surprised if Ricochet tries to leave, or Naomi, because they not using them. They are not using them. And honestly, like, I wouldn't want to be backstage while people win the championships. I like go out there and just say my own, I be talking to the crowd and like, look, I'm not being used properly, so if I don't be in the championship match, I'm leaving this company right now. Unless I get a championship match and I win. Because, like I said, Ricochet was the United States champion. Mustafa Ali is a great athlete. And it's like they didn't really use them. So stuff like that is really crazy. And then I'm thinking, like for Finn Balor on NXT, like, if he come to Monday Night Raw, is they gonna treat him good? He need to be the Prince Finn Balor, And it's just wrestlers coming from NXT, they need to have their whole gimmick, because look at what they did with Keith Lee. Keith Lee came from NXT to Monday Night Raw. They changed his music. They changed the way he wrestled. And then it was like he had a few matches with Drew. He even beat Randy Orton. So I was like, so how come Keith Lee ain't get a championship match? So, they got to give more people championship matches. But hopefully they'll do these things. And they are some ways that WWE can definitely save Monday Night Raw, because I'm telling y'all, these ratings is going to go down. These ratings is definitely going to go down, because it's the same thing every week. And people, honestly, I think people probably DVR Monday Night Raw and just looking at it and watching the stuff they want to watch and then deleting it. Or like for me, I try to tune in at 8. I see who's starting the show. Come back at 9. Come back at 10. Like, come back every hour, because I can't sit there for 3 hours and just watch it and stuff. Like, it just get boring, though. It do. But, I really do want them to save Monday Night Raw. I do. Because I don't want this show to just go down and then they be like, this is the final ever episode of Monday Night Raw. Like, that would be insane. And then that'll blow up. Like, this was the final Monday Night Raw ever. Like, low ratings, barely any views. Like, stuff like that can't happen. But they need to save Monday Night Raw. No, they need to push certain superstars. They need to stop giving Drew McIntyre all these championship matches. He needs to go in the back of the line because he already... Drew McIntyre lost twice. And I mean, I know he didn't get pinned, I think, at WrestleMania Backlash, but like, he tapped out he tapped out the Bobby Lashley. So he needs to stop getting all these championship privileges. He really do. Give other people opportunities. That's my final thing, y'all. Give other people opportunities, and maybe you'll see more people tune in. But until then, you keep getting the same people, the same stuff. They not going to tune in. It's just going to be the same people getting championship matches. And watch, I won't be surprised if people from the crowd, when they have live shows, start walking out, because it's the same thing. The same thing, y'all. So, new people, new opportunities. That's how you change Monday Night Raw. Woo!